this town with your host T-Wil, yeah, keeping it real. From the A to the screen, you can feel the thrill. Rolling with the classics, we're setting the pace, highlighting the magic of our soulful space. Got the vibe, got the crew, making it tight. When the screen lights up, everything feels right. Grab your popcorn, let's make it loud. T-Wil. It's movie time, ATL style. Stand proud. From the silver screen to the hearts we steal. Every frame we capture is the real deal. Talking premieres, where the stars align. ATL views, yeah, they really shine behind the...
There we go. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I got my guys with me tonight. We got Mr. Jordan Burton in the shades. I can't wait to hear why he did this. You know, Jordan always has a costumed effect for our MCU shows, so we got to find out why he chose this. But we got Mr. Jordan Burton. We also got Mr. Dave Laparo. And hey, gentlemen, how y'all doing today, man? Everybody all right? We good? What's up? What's going on?
Doing good.
Yeah.
Doing good.
Yeah. All right, man. All right. Well, tonight we are reviewing the movie Blade. And many of you may have thought, like Jordan, myself, and Dave did, that why would we do this, you know, before the Wolverine and Deadpool movie? And then all of a sudden Blade appears. And now we got to do the movies. And guess what? We don't just have to do one. We got to do 1, 2, and 3. One was I watched it again. I enjoyed it. It was a treat. Can't wait to talk about it. Jordan, Dave, give me your thoughts on this. Blade 1, man, 1998. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of the first Marvel projects I ever watched. I still have Blade on VHS. I had the Blade action figure.
You still have a VCR?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. I grew up on a VCR and VHS.
I swear to God, Jordan, you've been here before, bro. You have been here. I don't care what anybody says. I don't have a VCR.
I don't either.
I don't have a VCR. Damn, man.
Some movies, when you watch them on VHS, are amazing. In my opinion, that's the prime version of watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990. There's no better experience. Yeah. And I just saw that movie in the theaters, 2 weeks ago.
They did a re-release. Yeah.
Yep. And I watched it. I was like, this is awesome. But the griminess of a VHS fit it so perfectly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a comic from when this movie was released. I really love this movie. I mean, I haven't seen it in so long, up until about 2-3 years ago, mainly because I'm not a huge vampire person. When it comes to horror, there are 2 things that just don't ever scare me. That's vampires and zombies. That's just not my cup of tea when it comes to horror. And with Blade, you know, growing up through the MCU, I never really had any sort of idea of going back and watching this. But up until I was in college, I rewatched it again for the first time in years. And I was like, this is an okay movie. And then rewatching it now, I was telling you guys before the stream, I didn't rewatch this ahead of Deadpool and Wolverine because I didn't think Wesley Snipes and Ryan Reynolds would ever be together again. Yep. And it was the most shocking reveal that I could have ever seen in a Marvel movie, seeing Ryan Reynolds and Wesley Snipes together. So rewatching it now, I really love this movie. In fact, this is probably the best experience I've had watching Blade.
Okay. Dave? Talk about it.
So I remember when this came out, and I can't remember if I saw it in the theater, right when it was released or anything. But I remember having absolutely no idea that this was a comic book movie at the time that I saw it. I really, at that time, 98, so I was in high school at the time. I was not, I really did not grow up on comics or anything like that. So for me, and this really wasn't pushed like that. That was one thing that I do remember. I don't know if they even made mention of it being a Marvel movie or anything. It definitely didn't have the graphic at the beginning like a lot of the more modern ones do. So I don't think it was really pushed like that. I don't know if that was by design or what. Because from what I remember, this movie did pretty well. And I wasn't big on like vampire type movies or anything like that, but this one had just it had some amazing like visuals as far, not visual effects, but it had amazing visuals as far as like the actual action and everything in it. And for its time, I mean, it was it was a great movie. I really enjoyed it. I saw 3 of them. But yeah, at the time, I had no idea this was a Marvel movie whatsoever.
Hey man, it was. I forgot how funny this movie was. Like there were certain scenes in it where it was good. It was serious, but it was also it was a lot of comic relief, right? It was a lot of court gestures in this movie. But anyway, we'll get into it. So gross revenue, movie Blade 1998 earned $131,211,897 worldwide. 70 million domestic markets and 61 million from international markets. Doesn't say how much it cost to make though, but I think it cost something like maybe 30. If I don't want to speculate, I don't know if I found out how much it cost to make, but it definitely made a profit. I think it was like 30 or 40 million or something. But anyway,
45 million.
the release date was August 19th, 1998. I was a whole 28 years
-2.
old when I saw this. As a matter of fact, this was 5 months before. Wait a minute. Was it? Yes, 5 months before the Falcons would go to the Super Bowl. That's what it was.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Don't you do that, Dave. Don't you do it. And before you say it, yes, it's 8:11 p.m. and I still have not beat Dave's ass in Madden. Now we can move on. Jordan, Dave has made this a whole thing at work. He's got my co-workers doing it.
So Jordan, you're into college football, right? So as you know, there's a big rivalry with Ohio State and Michigan, and there's an ongoing running theme between both Ohio State and Michigan, where they'll be like, it's been 1,000 days since Ohio State beat Michigan.
Yeah.
So that's where I got that from. And boy, is it stuck. We got coworkers chiming in on
He's
that.
got my boss doing
It's
it,
been
Jordan.
fantastic.
My boss texted me the other day. He was like, "Hey man,
yeah.
He's like, I just want you to know it's 2:30 and you still hadn't whooped Dave's ass yet." I didn't want anything else. Like I was so random, Jordan. Couldn't believe it. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. So August 19th, 98 release date. Directors and producers. It was directed by Stephen Norrington and produced by Peter Frankfurt, Wesley Snipes, and Robert Engelman for the upcoming Marvel Cinematic Universe MCU Blade film. Bassam Tariq was initially announced as director, but later stepped down, and Jan Damage also departed from the project. I don't even think they're doing Blade anymore, so we don't got to spend time on the future Blade because I don't think that's going to happen. So, yeah, those are the guys who directed it initially, because I don't know what the hell they're doing with the current Blade project. I really don't. It's disappointing, but it is what it is. The cast: Wesley Snipes, Stephen Dorff, Chris Christopherson. Shout out to Chris Christopherson. Rest in peace, brother. And Boucher Wright, Donnell Logg, Udo Kier, Arlie Jover, Tracy Lords. Is Tracy Lords still alive? She was one of my favorites back in the day. I used to dig Tracy Lords. She was kind of hot, but I don't know if she's still alive. Sanaa Lathan. I forgot Sanaa Lathan was in this movie. That's how old I forgot she was in this movie as Blade's mom. Kevin Patrick Walls, Tim Guinea, is that, and Eric Edwards as Pearl. And Pearl was disgusting. Oh my God. Let me say something, Jordan.
Worst part of the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was
It
eating.
was so random and weird.
I
That,
was
Yeah.
eating as that scene comes on, and mind you, mind you, my brother does call me drive-through for a reason because I literally could eat through I could eat through a nuclear explosion and be like, I'm telling you, nothing phases my stomach. But I gotta admit, I was a little put off by it. Like it was just like that whole. I was like, bruh, what were we going for there? Like,
Right.
like I don't know.
And how does he go to the bathroom? As that's all I'm
That
saying.
yeah,
Does
that's
that even
just
work?
it. And you know what? He looked like he smelled. They did a great job because he just looked like it was just like, oh my god, oh I know it stinks in there. Oh, I know it is funky as 3-day-old corn chips and somebody's bad feet. Like it looked like it really did not smell well. And then like as they cooked them, just ew. That just I gave that scene the thumbs down. I really did. I did not. I didn't like that scene. I know they found out that Lamagra, the blood god, was coming, but that dude was disgusting. But hey, whatever.
I didn't eat for 3 days after I saw that.
Oh, you didn't? You didn't?
Nope. Went on a run. Wanted to continue running. I've been running ever since. It scared me.
That was disgusting. That was, and I forgot because I remember when I watched it, I was like, oh, that's nasty.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I'm watching it, right? And so like here's my process. I know you guys didn't ask, but whatever. Here's my process. So because I love doing these podcasts with you guys. Like it really is the highlight of my week. Yes, I have no life, but that's not the point. So anyway, like I'm about to sit down. And when I tell you I got a spread, gentlemen, I got a spread. And I sit down probably about 12 minutes before this scene, right? Because I watched it, paused it, went downstairs, made my little spread, got my drink, got everything, got the food tray or whatever. I'm sitting in the bedroom. It's great. It's just me. Kim and the kids are gone. I've got peace, serenity. Let's go. And this scene comes on, and I'm like, damn, I could not waste this food. But God, it was disgusting. Anyway, all right, man, we gotta go. Just so you know, not one of my favorite scenes. Plot in 90 seconds. A pregnant woman is attacked by a vampire. The child survives. Half human, half vampire. 30 years later, he's Blade. A leather-clad Blade was not 30. Okay. I'm just saying he's probably 40, but whatever. Okay. 30 years later, he's Blade, a leather-clad vampire hunter working with grizzled mentor Whistler to keep humanity safe. After saving hematologist Karen Johnson from a hospital attack, Blade uncovers a techno-occult plot led by upstart vampire Deacon Frost to resurrect the blood god Lamagra and rewrite Vampire Order. Karen searches for a cure to vampirism as Blood confronts both Frost and his own origins, culminating in an ultra-violent showdown that saves the city and cements Blade's legend. Blah, 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 blah. Let's talk about it, man. So the first scene, and we see Tracy Lords and the dude from SWAT, I can't think of his name, and she's like, oh, what's that? And he's like, it's my package. And he's like, where are we going? And she's like, it's a surprise. And I've learned whenever somebody tells you a surprise in a movie, probably not a good thing. I'm just saying 70% of the time you're going to die, or it's going to be very bad. You know what I mean? It's going to be very bad. So he's like all excited because she is hot. I mean, let's just let's all respect due. And I love my wife. I do. I love you, but she is hot. Okay, Tracy. I've always been a fan of Tracy Lords. She's hot.
And she is still alive, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate that. even with the red hair, she or whatever, she's still hot. So I'm like, okay. And they go to this club, and they're all dancing, and everything's sweet, and all of a sudden, the blood showers come on. And let me tell you something, man. I would be freaking out if that were me, and I'm not a vampire. I would be freaking out. Like I was really thinking, oh shit, because I felt for the guy. I don't know why. I guess because I hadn't seen the movie in a while. Because I saw it, and I mean, I knew he was gonna die, although I don't think he does die. But anyway, wait, he does die because they did. They tore him up. They did. They did. They killed him. But I was like, I was feeling so bad for him at that moment because it felt like he was the only one in the club. Like, what's wrong? You don't like the blood? And all of them turn around, her, and I'm like, oh, bro, you about to you give your soul to Jesus because your ass belongs to this club. They are about to kill you. Guys, give me your thoughts. What's going on in your mind in this first scene where dude bites it? You know what I mean, and just gets sent off to the great hereafter. Just give me your thoughts.
So yeah, I thought the visuals were really cool. It had a very like gothic feel to it.
It did.
Just like how they shot it, the lighting and everything. And I know that Jordan used the term comic booky when we were talking about Superman. This was very like dark comic booky.
Oh yeah.
Because it had that goth feel to it, but again with between the one-liners and just like the exaggerated movements in certain scenes and everything, it was very dark comic booky, and which is not a bad thing. Like that for what this was, like this was really good, and the visuals for that opening, pretty graphic, and set a good tone for the movie. I think I thought it was really good.
All right, Jordan. Which, by the way, explain your outfit, sir. I'm not going to wait till it's half over. I want to know. This is interesting. Explain, what's going on with your aesthetic today, sir.
I mean, the glasses kind of speak for itself. I mean, look, if you watch Blade, I mean, he's always got the sunglasses.
He does always have. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I was that. Like, obvious. I went with a Charles Woodson jersey, so. Charles Woodson's rookie year was in 1998, where this movie takes place. And I was like, I needed to figure out a black jersey. So I was like, I'm going to go all black. If I couldn't find a leather jacket, this is what I was going with. So I had to go all in on the late 90s aesthetic.
Well, I think that's pretty dope. I do. I think that's pretty dope, Jordan. And, as the host, it's about time I start setting a better example. I don't need to be a hypocrite. You know what I mean? I need to kind of, dress for the show. So I'm gonna put my shades on. How about that, Jordan? How about that? I'm gonna put my shades on, and we're both gonna do our show with the shades on. All right. Now, James, I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry, James. What the? Oh, I'm looking at James right here. James says, did you do Smokey and the Bandit? Did I miss it? No, James, I've not. I will. I promise you, but I've not. So, James, every Saturday, me and my friends, these guys, the other one with the shades on is Jordan Burton, and the guy down at the bottom who's a very good Madden player and kicked the shit out of me. His name's Dave Laparo. Although he's not very humble about it, James. I'm just telling you, he's not very humble about it at all. But we do Marvel content every Saturday. James, I tell you what. I'm going to do Smokey and the Bandit within the next 3 weeks because it is a great movie. How it came up was I was talking about it on another show, guys. But no, James, I will reach out to you or you can reach out to me, but it'll probably be within the next 3 weeks. I will be doing Smokey and the Bandit. And it would be sooner, but I have some previous commitments, but I will be doing Smokey and the Bandit. But thank you for asking, sir. And I'm glad to see that you really love the movie because I do too. I mean, great movie. How it came up was I was doing the song. We got a long way to go in a short time to get there. Are you guys familiar with that song?
No.
You know what? That I got a bone to pick with you guys. I really do. James, excuse me for 1 second. I'm about to get on family. These guys are my family, but I'm about to get on to them for something that they did or didn't do about 2 months ago. So, guys, do you remember we did a show on DC? You remember that, right? Mm-hmm. And you remember a certain song came up, Metamorpho, right? And I wanted to know what you guys thought about it. And I went so far as to send you the video, and none of you guys responded, okay? And I thought the song was great.
That's correct.
I did listen to it. When you sent it, I just never responded.
Everything he just said, James, was factually accurate. Confirmed. He sent it. We didn't watch it. And why, you ask? Because it's 2025.
Oh wow. Oh. Anyway,
I did listen to it. I just never responded. I think it was like 11:30 at night when I was listening to it, so I just completely forgot about it.
You've had 2 months, Jordan. Come on.
All right. Here's my live reaction to that song.
Metamorpho.
It felt like a 1970s Saturday morning cartoon vibe. Okay, it felt like I was traveling to the Flintstones. It felt like pre the Batman animated series.
Wow.
It was pre my mother, pre my father. What's the vibe I'm getting? I felt positive, rays of positivity. This go. Yeah, that was the vibe I was getting. So that's my live reaction to the Metamorpho song.
I love the Metamorpho song.
So mine is a lot shorter. Mine was, I looked at my phone, and then I thought, oh, wow, he did send it. The end.
Oh wow. So how this came up was I was said we got a long way to go and a short time to get there, and that is a song from Smokey and the Bandit. Smokey and the Bandit is a movie with Burt Reynolds and Jerry Reed and Sally Field. Great movie, great story. It's about some guys that are trying to smuggle some beer from Texarkana, as Jerry Reed calls it, to Georgia. And one of my favorite country songs ever. It goes, we got a long way to go and a short time to get there. Come on, watch your bandit run. Wait, how's it go? Eastbound and I'm loaded up and trucking. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done? We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. Come on, watch your bandit run. Anyway, I don't know the rest of the words, but it was great. I was 7 years old first time I saw it, and it will forever be in my heart, and I love it. And James, that's for you, because these guys are going to ridicule the hell out of me for the rest of the show, and I did it for you, buddy, because we're going to do Smokey and the Bandit. Anyway.
Well, the good news is we're not going to get YouTube trademarked with how that performance of that song.
I was gonna say, are the people that did that song, are the people who performed that song even alive today?
Probably not, because I think it's performed by Jerry Reed.
Post that in the stream. Are they even alive today? And if
they are,
they're probably highly upset if they would ever see it.
My mother said I could sing, damn it, and that's what I'm going with. I don't care what you say, Dave. Whatever. Let's talk about the blood rave. All right, so dude gets killed. Vampires are having a great day, and all of a sudden, there's a hush that falls over the crowd, and you start to hear a whisper, the Daywalker. It is him. And people start to part like the Red Sea and enter Wesley Snipes as Blade. Big, bad, bold as hell, and getting ready to whoop some ass. What a moment. He does not disappoint. He starts to kick some vampire booty and just killing everybody. And there's this scene, or there's this part in this scene where he's got this, I don't know if you call it a boomerang or whatever kind of weapon it is. Dave, you're a martial artist. You may know what it is. But it's like a blade, but it's almost like a boomerang, right? It's got, I don't know, whatever. But anyway, he throws it, and it goes in a circle, kills everybody, and comes back to him. And I just thought that was so cool. Guys, give me your thought on Blade's initial whoop-ass section in this scene.
Well, This is one of my favorite introductions to any Marvel character in any Marvel movie ever. You immediately get the presence of Blade right away. The immediate fear on all those vampires' faces, and he just starts kicking butt the whole time. He's got a smile on his face. He knows he's good at what he does, and you get that presence from him in this entire scene. This is probably my favorite scene of the whole movie. It's a great way of setting up the aura of the film itself. Like having the blood coming down, raining on everybody. You're just like, you're disgusted and creeped out in that, and then getting Blade coming in, and those people you're creeped out by, they're creeped out by Blade. Yeah. And Wesley Snipes just does such a great job as Blade in this movie. And he's the one-liners we were getting at. He's got a bunch of them that are so good. Some of them don't make too much sense, but it's a great way of introducing us to the world and the main character.
Yeah. One of my favorites is when he's in the hospital after Karen Jensen is bitten. And I think what's his name's henchman that Blade just bullies. Blade just bullies him the entire movie, but Blade set him on fire, and he wakes up and bites the doctor, who is Karen's ex-boyfriend, bites the crap out of him, and then attacks Karen. And Blade shows up and looks down on her. I think for a minute he kind of sees his mother, or she reminds him of his mom, and he's like, I'm not going to kill her. And so he decides to take her, and he's killing vampires. And these cops show up, and they shoot at him. And he turns around at him and says, "Mother," and it's like, "You gonna shoot me?" Like, that was great. That was funny, because just the way he said it was like, "Man, I'm Blade. What are y'all doing?" Anyway, whatever. But yeah, man, no, it great scene. Dave, give me your thoughts on that first fight scene.
Yeah, I think like Jordan was getting into, I think it set a good tone for the movie. How they wrote that in the beginning. And when I rate a lot of these, like that's like my preference is like the writing and everything. And I thought it was really good in the beginning of how they establish it, the gothic tones, the lighting that they used going into the club, the type of music that was playing in the club, and then that action sequence right off top just really established like exactly where we're at with this whole thing. You've got, you know, a group of evil vampires, and then you've got the one that's trying to hunt them down and you know, protect humankind and all that. So I thought it set a really good tone for the movie. Again, a lot of good visuals with the opening fight sequence. The boomerang type thing he was throwing is called I think it's a glaive. I had to look it up because I did not use many glaives back in my day. But yeah, it's called a glaive. When would you use that? Nobody, because in a real situation, I just, you know, yeah, let me take the safety off my glaive. No, I mean, nobody would do that. Nobody would ever use a glaive in a real situation. So, but yeah, it was a cool effect because, you know, he threw it, it went around, it cut through everybody and everything. Yeah, really, opening set a great tone for the movie, and then going into the next one, which, you know, we'll get into, I thought was good also with the main antagonist.
Yeah, the weapons, the UV lights, the silver stakes, just the way a lot of thought went into that. I thought that was pretty cool of them kind of bringing that to life. So really did enjoy that, man. Let's talk about the first time Blade meets Whistler. You know, when he goes to the lair. I thought that was kind of cool. You know, he's grizzled, he's an old dude, he's a chain smoker, probably used to listen to the Grateful Dead, like that kind of vibe, you know what I mean? Takes no prisoners. I don't know, it was pretty cool, man. Definitely a weaponsmith. You know, took Blade in when he was homeless, and you know, basically kind of helps him to get his serum that he's trying to perfect, but it's beginning to wear off. But yeah, Dave, let's talk about Whistler, man. Give me your thoughts, impressions. We got Carrie in the chat. Oh, first James says no, it's Jerry Reed, and he's no longer with us. R.I.P. Jerry Reed. Jerry Reed. We got Carrie in the building. Carrie says hi, guys. Hope everyone is doing well. And I want y'all to know Carrie is in the ATL because she is gonna be at the Falcons game tomorrow. As will I. As will Jack Spade. As will Bodie 3000. As will a whole lot of people. And yeah, we're gonna beat the Bucks. So what up, Carrie? How you doing? Carrie says I'm late to the Blade review, so I'll catch the replay. But I wanted to say I love the sunglasses. Hey, Carrie, well, we've got our Blade sunglasses on, Carrie. We've got our Blade sunglasses. You know what I mean? That's right, because me, Dave, and Jordan are gonna show up tomorrow with our glaives, and we're gonna restore order. Just kidding. Jordan, tell me your thoughts on Whistler, War Machine, the whole thing. Give me your thoughts.
Well, I mean, you did ask Dave, so we're gonna have Dave go first.
Carrie threw me off. I was so excited to say my bad because she's in town. I'm thinking of how much fun the gang is gonna have.
In glaives, yeah,
glaives. You know what I mean? The glaives. Dave, your thoughts? Let's go, man. Whistler, the War Machine, the fact that he's smoking cigarettes and pumping gas at the same time. Wow.
So he's a pretty interesting character. He reminds me of like a cross between Sam Elliott's character from Roadhouse. Yeah. I can't remember the name of the character, but he reminds me of that, a cross between him and Stick from Daredevil.
Yes.
He's like a cross between those two characters. Like he's got the knowledge and everything, and he's kind of like that old school shit kicker type of guy and everything. So I think it added a good element to the good dynamic to the movie, I think.
Yeah, I think he must have smoked 100 cigarettes during the making of that movie because he's like just one after the other, just wow. Like, understand, like when they show somebody constantly smoking, they don't catch everything they need on the first scene.
Right.
Just imagine if you got 5 or 6 scenes, dude. Oh my God. Like, you'd have to be a smoker because if you weren't by the end of that movie, oh, you are, buddy. You are. Just saying. Jordan, give us your thoughts on Whistler.
Yeah, I think Dave kind of hit it with Stick. I can definitely see that. Now, Roadhouse, look, it's one of those movies that I can tell you the whole premise of the movie. I've never seen it, but I can tell you the whole premise of it. So watching it will only just tell me what I already know. Yeah, I mean, Stick's a great comparison to Whistler. I don't know who plays Whistler in this, but he does such a great job in getting into this character. Like, I immediately see him, I'm like, yeah, this guy's pretty cool. And you can tell I love this like distant relationship that him and Blade have. It's something that like it's like a father-son relationship, but very standoffish. Like they want to be like
throwback. It's a relationship you'd have in the 60s and 50s. Like Blade clearly loves him. You'll never hear Blade say that, right? As a matter of fact, Karen Jensen says, so you're pretty close to him. And Blade's like, yeah, he makes the weapon and I use him. But there's this undercurrent, right? Like with Blade, it's about what he does and says. So anyway, let me shut up. Go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah.
Your moment.
No, I mean, no, you hit it right on the nail. Their relationship, how they are very close, but you won't ever hear them say it.
Right.
And it's, in my opinion, kind of hard to see that in any movie because you have to have two actors who are inherently close to one another, but they have to create the distance with like an undertone of being close. It's such a hard concept, in my opinion, that I don't think you see very much in movies nowadays. And I think that's something they hit on in especially in the 90s and early 2000s with a lot of movies. But their relationship is something that I thought was probably pretty underrated in this movie and ended up being the reason why when Whistler does die, it you hurt for and you feel for Blade. Even though you don't see it on his face, you know he is hurting on the inside.
Yeah. 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 And it's interesting you say that, because a lot of the movies nowadays, they're just so emo. There's so much emotion going on in it that it was refreshing to see. And I'll tell you, to your point, Jordan, I'll tell you when you see that. When he says, when he brings in Karen Jensen, he's like, yeah, so she got bit. And he was like, well, you should have killed her. And he's like, yeah, but I didn't. What he's really saying is, she's special to me. And Whistler gets it right away, because he said, he doesn't be like, no, you can't. He's like, all right, well, if she starts to turn, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna kill her. But that was him saying, okay, watch her. Okay, I'm trusting you. Okay, I got you. And then to your point, Jordan, when he gets bitten or whatever, and he's like, here, take out my gun. And Blade's like, well, we can treat you. Right? Now, anybody else, as far gone as he was, Blade would have killed them, no problem. But you can see in Blade's face that, for all intents and purposes, this is his dad. And he doesn't want to do, he doesn't want to do that. But he's like, as a matter of fact, that's why Whistler is like, just walk away, you stupid son of a bitch. But he's doing that because, again, he doesn't want, number one, he doesn't want him to see him die, because he knows how Blade feels about him. And he doesn't want Blade to have to do it, because he could have been like, you just do it. But he's like, no, give me the gun, I'll do it. Does that make sense, guys?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, but that's it's good that you call that out, because you don't, you see that in movies like Godfather. You see that unspoken thing with men. I got to be honest. I thought my dad hated me probably the first 10 years of my life. And one time I got into a fight. I've never been a fighter. I won a couple, but let's just say I don't have a glowing record. Probably the same as Madden. Shut up, Dave. But I got into this fight, and this guy was much bigger than me. And he kicked the crap out of me. And my dad went ballistic. He went to find the guy. He went to, like, he was just mad, and I was like, who is this guy? Like, but it was you weren't gonna hear that, right? He was gonna show you, but you weren't gonna hear it. You get what I'm saying? And that's kind of what we get with this bond between these men. Like, you can tell there's love, you can see it, but they just don't say it, which, it's not in style nowadays. But I think it's really cool being grown up now. I get what my dad was trying to do, I think. Anyway, whatever. It's not about me. Let's talk about Deacon Frost. So Deacon is what's the term they use for him?
Saucy.
No. Oh, Jordan's on one today. No, I would not call him saucy.
Nor would anybody else.
Yeah, who would use saucy to describe someone? I mean,
we put that out there in that stream a while back, and no hits. It apparently exists nowhere on Earth. So.
That is not true. The kids do say saucy because they're like, he got that sauce. That's not true. They do say saucy, but whatever. Anyway.
I think you're using it differently there.
Whatever. Carrie says, rise up. See you tomorrow, T-Wil. We'll see you tomorrow, Carrie. So Deacon is what his words, half breed, half man, half vampire. And a big theme in this movie is class, right? Oh, you weren't born a vampire. You're not one of us. You're not even pure blood. We have these rules. Now they are kind of saucy. They are the traditionalists, the ones that were born vampires. Not that Blade is. Blade is nowhere near that. But the ones in that boardroom, they are kind of saucy. They are like, you're not even a full vampire. We have these ways. Like, you just, they do ooze sauce a little bit, but whatever. We don't have to get into it, guys. Whatever. It's okay. But Deacon has this calling this self-imposed calling that he wants to be the blood god, Lamagra. And I tell you, one thing that was kind of weird about it is, how does Deacon get information that millions of vampires before him couldn't get? Like, who the hell did he know? You know what I mean? We just see him in there on his computer trying to decode the language. Like, nobody's ever done that before. Like, really? Like, okay, whatever. Just my thoughts. How do you guys feel about Deacon Frost as a villain? Jordan, give me your thoughts.
I mean, it's weird. You don't want to root for him. He creates a sense that you don't want to root for him, because the root of why he's doing this is to go and control humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things you want to root for this boardroom, even though they're all vampires, even though Blade probably wants to kill them all.
Mm-hmm.
They want to make
they
sure
want to
that
coexist.
Yes.
They want to coexist. They're Charles Xavier and Deacon
Yes.
Frost is Magneto. We can rule
Yes.
these members. What are we
Yes.
doing? They're food.
Yes.
He says they're food.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's in this boardroom scene, he has this like underdog mentality that, like, all right, and nobody wants to see him there, but he's got a seat at the table. So it's like you want to root for the underdog, but not in this situation. So it's like I want to see you want to see him beat these guys, but that's about it. So when he eventually does, it's like, all right, cool. Now, Blade, go do your thing. So this is the most 90s aspect of this whole movie. It's not the leather. It's not the shades. It's not the smoke and the cigarettes everywhere. It's not the griminess. It's not the New York City skyline, and it's none of that. It's this guy's just entire aura. I'm saying this again. His entire presence. He just feels like straight out of a 90s villain in any movie.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. He does.
Yeah, even in the sequence where they're calling him to go in, and he just kind of stands there and he glances at him, and he like does the dramatic where he pulls out the cigarette and then he lights the cigarette. That was definitely very 90s. Was like it might have even been earlier than that. Like he was trying to pull like a James Dean kind of thing. Like, I'm cool for school. They can wait 3 more minutes while I have my cigarette, kind of thing.
I bet you he listens to NSYNC.
It's gonna be me. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, but I thought it brought a cool dynamic, because you had Blade taking out the vampires and everything, but then there was also that conflict between Frost and them. Obviously, they were being more, I guess, PC. They were like the more PC vampires, like didn't want to really ruffle any feathers and coexist. And this happens all the time. With the survival of the fittest attitude, countries do that kind of thing all the time. It's like, why are we letting them do this now? Like, let's just go in and invade them. And that's kind of like the mindset that Frost had, and everything. And it wasn't even so much like, I think there was more hatred than like what we would see with Magneto. I think there was more hatred with Frost, because he referred to them as a meat or food and all that stuff. So yeah, but I thought it was a cool dynamic. As a villain though, he did have more of an underdog vibe until we got near the tail end and everything. Then it kind of shifted, for that bit of time. But yeah, he had an underdog villain feel throughout the whole thing for me.
Okay. Let's talk about the blood farms. Blade's Hunt reveals Frost is growing, blood farms. Warehouses of comatose humans harvested for sustenance. Ew. The horrifying detail shifts the film from action to dystopian horror, showing vampires industrializing their dominance. Frost asserts control by assassinating his pure blood rivals. And that was kind of, man, that when he brought that dude out to see that first sunlight, that was kind of like, damn. Like, although, to be honest, I feel you, Jordan, when you say, because I didn't like the way he slapped nigga. Like, he slapped, that was so disrespectful. Like, it is, I'd rather you punch me than slap me with, like, that's so, like, he just was like, yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing, Deacon? Know your place, you half-breed. You know what I mean? And so then when we see
You
him
killed
later,
my father.
right, right. We see him later, and you know, he's about to take the million sunblock. I don't know. I didn't feel. I was kind of ambiguous about it. Like, it didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, I saw him. I know he pulled his teeth out. I know why he did it, but I didn't care either way. Right? I didn't, because it was just like, I just felt like you didn't have to slap the guy. You get what I'm saying? Like, that felt disrespectful. You disrespected him, so he killed you. You're both vampires. We're food to all of you guys. Whatever. Give me your thoughts on that scene where and I thought it was cool, like the suits that they had on, because I'm up here wondering, like, how are they going to survive the sunlight? And then they put I thought that was kind of cool. But guys, give me your thoughts on that. The scene where he like assassinates, one of the pure bloods. Yeah, pure bloods. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, class definitely
I mean,
permeated that whole dynamic.
It
with
was,
the pure. So yeah, so they were bringing up that whole concept of mudblood long before Harry Potter, but but yeah, with the it was more of like a statement, because obviously he ends up killing the guy, but then he pulls out the fangs and everything. Are we on the right slide, by the way? I don't feel like you were reading from the.
No, that's my own personal slide.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
We got because we these. So we're still in the plot, right? But I don't like a deck that's 40 pages, right? So I just kind of condensed it. So good catch there. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I think it was more the point of not only did he want to get this guy out of the way, he just really wanted to completely, diminish everything about the guy. I mean, he took the fangs out. Just everything was about it was that had to have been the most emasculating way a vampire could be killed. Like
yeah.
So it was a statement kill. It wasn't just about getting him out of the way and making it quick or anything like that. It was very very like vampire-y mobbish type of killing.
Yeah, I think Frost was harboring some deep-rooted resentment towards him, and I think he just picked the day, like, because I think he took it. Like, when he slaps him, Frost does nothing. So what that tells me is, well, for him to feel comfortable enough to do that, he's done that before, right? You've probably come up under him, and you're just saving it for the day. So that was a statement, but that, to me, that was also some get back. Does that make sense? That was kind of revenge-esque. You think, or no? You agree, disagree? Give me your thoughts.
No,
I don't know that it was necessarily that, because I think he was going to do it anyway. I think
he
it
was
added to it. Yeah, I think it might have been a little bit in there, but I think it was going to happen anyway. So I don't know that it was only motivated by that, but yeah, certainly might have contributed to like how much he humiliated and emasculated the guy before he did that. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of those scenes that I think in the planning stages of this movie, they were like, oh, do you know what would be really cool? And they had this idea of like having a vampire burn in the sun, and then it's like working the plot around it. And I think this is visually a really cool scene.
Yeah.
And now CGI throughout the movie is, I mean, for the time. So I'm not going to be overly harsh. I'm not going to like criticize this movie for its CGI because of when it came out.
Yeah.
It's it's hard to criticize that. But just the idea and thought of what they wanted to do and showing it is really cool. And even though I don't like the idea that these vampires can just wear sunblock and then they're good to go. I mean, when I wear sunblock, I still burn a little bit in it. So like I went to the beach a couple months ago, put on sunblock the whole day. My ears were still burning. So I'm not too for that being a thing. But in general, this scene is a very just visually a cool scene to have.
It is.
Yeah, it does have a mob vibe to it.
It does. It does. The sunblock to me was kind of multi-dimensional for this movie because I think they used it in multiple ways. Like when Blade and Deacon Frost have that interaction, and Blade comments is like, "Oh, how are you doing that?" And he's like, "Yeah, sunblock." And then he goes, "Your mascara is running." And in this interaction, Deacon Frost says to him, "Oh, don't be an Uncle Tom," because he's basically calling these folks cattle, right? And he was like, "Oh, how Uncle Tom of you, let's call it what it is." Because Blade says, "Well, what if I don't want to be?" Because I think the statement was, "You have all of our strengths and none of our weaknesses." And he was like, "Well, what if I don't want it?" And he was like, "Don't be an Uncle Tom." That's something like that. But it was kind of the crux of that scene was kind of being who you are versus the mask that you wear, right? Blade having all of these gifts looked upon by the vampires as this godlike figure, but not wanting to be, and Deacon having to put on this vampire sunblock so he can walk around when really, if he wasn't trying to assimilate, if he had his way, he'd just kill them all, right? So I think that was like a component of it that I saw. But anyway, let's get into one of the most disgusting scenes ever in the history of any movie, and that is when Blade goes into the vampire lair to see Pearl the activist to get. That was disgusting, man. And let me tell you something. Fire and vampires was a big, big, big theme in this movie. Like, I don't know why they wanted to. They burned a lot of vampires, but just this was disgusting. This was 100% disgusting. This was like seeing one of those injuries that you want to look away from, is how bad that was. Because you walk in and right away, when you look at Pearl, and they remark like, "What's that smell?" And then you look at Pearl, and guys, I'm not gonna lie, for just like a half a second, I felt like I could smell funk. You know what I mean? Because it just you could see Pearl was just big, and it's no way Pearl's taking a bath. Pearl had to be 1,500 pounds. How you gonna wash that? You're not. So you could, you know what I mean? You could just right? And then somebody has the bright idea to torture Pearl and put that was bad. And I was eating. So it was that's got to be in my top 5 disgusting scenes of a movie ever. And I tell you what else I didn't like. Let me tell you something. If you put 2 million BTUs or whatever the metric is of sunlight on me and you cook me the first time, I'm gonna talk. Okay, you're gonna know everything. You don't have to burn me a second time, Blake. I'm gonna tell you everything. Okay, if you're gonna kill me, kill me. But don't take me out like that. Just go ahead and cut my. I'm gonna tell you everything. So they burn him, and then he's like, they ask him a question. He's like, "Well, I don't know." That wouldn't have happened. That would not have happened. Nobody would have done that. He'd have been like, "I'm gonna tell you whatever you need to know, bro. Just don't burn me again." Those were my thoughts. Guys, give me your thoughts on that scene and just the whole dynamic of Pearl and who was Blade with? He was with Karen, right? He was with Karen. Was he with Karen? He was with King.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Give me your thoughts on that interaction.
I mean, this is in my opinion the worst part of the movie, just because I was into the story, I was into the movie the whole time, but this specific part just felt so out of place. It wasn't the vampires, it wasn't that aspect, it wasn't the mythology of vampires. No, it was this. I don't even know what to call Pearl, a very large human being that is also just so happens to be a vampire, which it's like, all right, how did you become a vampire, and how long have you been there, and like why, how are you still alive, who wants you alive, outside. I mean, Deacon was kind of just using Pearl for his own advantage, but like, how long has Pearl been there? So it was kind of gross. No, it was really gross, and it just, yeah, this just took me out of the movie. Honestly, you could have probably replaced this with like kind of like a scene like from Captain America: The Winter Soldier, where when Cap and Black Widow go into the lair, not the lair, the military base, and they find
Military base,
computers.
yeah.
Yeah, like you could find like a scene where they find a computer that shows what exactly
their
Frost
plan
is
is or
working
whatever,
on.
yeah.
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 You could honestly replaced it. Adding Pearl in is just like, okay, you wanted to do something really gross. You did it. Thanks. I don't want to see that again. Yeah, that was kind of the vibe I got.
It was disgusting. Dave?
Yeah, that's like one of those scenes where like I would have liked to have listened to them in the writers' room and like figure out like how that even happened, and like, you know, just somebody pitching that idea, you know, like because I just imagine a guy sitting at the table and he's like, you know, it would really be good. This would be a good segue into a really fat guy surrounded by computer monitors, and then like. And then, like,
wait a minute,
other
really
people at the
guy,
table, and
really
the other people at the table were clearly like, you know what, that's a really good idea.
I
think we should put that on a movie, Johnson.
He's probably got dirty pictures of all of them.
Right,
I'm gonna ask him. Better go along with it.
Yeah, it was just so out of play. It really was out of play. Like, it was a disgusting scene and all, but it like. I know that they're going for like the whole goth thing and all that stuff, and it was just odd. It was an odd thing. Also, the sunblock, that was lazy. That was just lazy writing. Mm-hmm. That was the laziest part, I think, of all the writing. And of course they made it a point to talk about it. It was like, oh, sunblock. just lazy. And then they, you know, cut from that to the blob that's existing in the vampire world that you can defeat with your high beams. Like it was such a weird segment in the movie.
And it was disgusting. It was.
Yeah, it sure was. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think we all ate a salad immediately after that scene, right?
I am averse to salad, so I will just say I did have man. I'm 265. Let's be honest. I don't like salad, and you know, I did have some soup. Okay. All right. Let's talk about tone and style. Blade melts Hong Kong infected action with rave era vampirism, swapping gothic capes for PVC katanas and UV bullets. Norrington's camera favors clean silhouettes and hero frames that turn Snipes' martial arts into graphic panels. The ash to dust vampire disintegration became a signature CG flourish of late 90s genre film, VFX by Flat Earth Productions, and others. Pacing and structure, a classic mentor weapon sickness chassis, Whistler serum bloodlust gives the action emotional stakes. The third act was reshaped after poor test screenings and adding the now iconic Blade versus Frost sword fight, ditching a messier CG blood tornado finale, tightening momentum at the cost of some of the mythic weirdness. And it was a lot of hip hop techno soundtrack. What do you guys think about this, Jordan? Tone and style, give me your thoughts.
I mean, this is just perfect tone and style. I don't think I could have asked for the tone of a Blade movie to be better. And this is the area that if they plan to go and reboot and do a new Blade, which I think they should. I mean, it's been 20 years since the third movie, almost 20 years. By the time this potential reboot comes out, it will be definitely over 30 years or 20 years. And almost 30 years since the first one. So, I mean, they're going to have to figure out the tone right away, because that is the most important part of what makes this movie so good. And I think the issue in the sequels that followed this movie is they kind of shied away a little bit from this tone. And I mean, that's in my opinion what makes this movie so good, is the tone itself. It sucks you into the movie. And you know, all right, I've seen a lot of movies. I've seen a lot of vampire movies. Recently I saw, what was that, Nosferatu. I love visually, I love that movie. I think the style's nice. I just don't really care for it all that much. I know a lot of people who loved it. I watched the Twilight movies twice in my life. I'm not a huge fan of them. I just kind of watched it just to watch it, because it's one of the biggest franchises ever. And it's one of those things I tell people, they're like, I don't really want to watch it. And I'm like, it's one of those things you watch it once and that's really it. But this movie, I love everything about the tone and style about this movie. And it fits that the 90s vibe with the vampire vibe and blends it perfectly together.
Okay. All right. Dave?
Yeah, with a lot of that I agree. For what it was, the tone and style was just right on the money. Like, just, I mean, from everything to the coloring, the lighting, the scenery, the visuals that they did, even for that time, because I think this was around like when the Matrix came out, which kind of like revolutionized visual effects. For this time, the visual effects weren't awful. Like, they weren't that bad. And I'm not going to, criticize that too much either. But everything else, though, like this could have been considered like almost like a horror movie. Because again, it really didn't come across as a comic book movie at the time it was out. It really didn't come across that way. And this was one of those where, like, because it had such good visuals, like I do remember watching this like multiple times and everything when it came out on VHS at the time. But I liked just about everything about it. As far as the action sequences, the visuals, the tone, I think they really did a good job capturing like that kind of like world and everything that they were in.
All right. Cool. Talk about some character arcs. Blade, the archetypal liminal hero. He refuses a cure, choosing duty over peace, an arc about self-definition through purpose, his serum dependency and daywalker status externalize addiction versus control. I don't know if that's addiction so much as survival, but whatever. Karen Jensen, more than a damsel, she drives the science anticoagulant EDTA, UV Tech, and reframes vampirism as pathology. Her agency grounds the comic book excess. Deacon Frost, a new money disruptor against pure blood aristocrats. Agree with that. Youth culture versus entrenched elites. He's a style villain. Charisma over depth, which works until the CG heavy end. Whistler, mentor as mortality mirror. His pain and fatalism let Blade's stoic read as love by refusal. And they're talking about fatalism as because he has cancer and he was dying anyway. Guys, thoughts? Jordan, character arcs? Anything we missed? Give me your thoughts.
I mean, with Blade, there's really an underrated arc for him that you see at the beginning of the movie. I mean, you see it plain and obvious at the first moments of the movie when he's being born. Like he knows that he hasn't been raised by a father or a mother, and you see that's the reason he saves Karen is he immediately sees his mother in her. So he has this like in the back of his head that like he's searching for a parental figure, and at the very end of the movie when we find out that his mother is alive, he realizes that he never needed his mother. I mean, he wanted a mother, but he never needed it. But if he was raised by that mother, he would have been a very different person than he is in that moment. And so him realizing his independence for himself and not needing that parental figure was just a underrated part of the whole movie. Karen, what's interesting about Karen is the type of character that's more of she's the audience in character form. Like you're trying to learn the mythos, the everything about Blade and everything going on, and Blade and Whistler are both just telling her. So we are her and she is us throughout this whole movie, up until obviously the end where she actually does matter a little bit. But so I wouldn't say there's a huge arc for her, but she's just kind of filler to move the whole movie along for the reason why we're doing this movie in the first place is to introduce us to everybody. But how do you introduce us to a character that's already known? It's not like we're seeing his origin. I mean, this is an origin story, but it's not like Spider-Man from 2002 where we're seeing Peter get his powers. Blade is already developed. This is how you do a movie. And you know how much I love origin movies.
We do.
This is how you do a movie that the main character is not undergoing his origin story. This is a perfect example because we see him explain his entire life before our very eyes. And you don't need to walk us down his childhood. You don't need to walk us through every aspect of his life because he's confiding in Karen and Whistler's talking to Karen, and we're seeing it play out, his origin story in this movie. And it ultimately plays well for Blade because it makes him in like the beginning of the movie more like powerful in terms of his demeanor and someone to be scared of. So it makes him more terrifying to slowly know mystery behind Blade.
I have one question, and that is, did they say she died the night she gave childbirth?
I don't think they did. It was kind of hinted. I think Blade was obviously born, so it's not like he could remember or anything. Right. But I think his assumption is that she died during childbirth, but otherwise nobody actually mentioned it. So
my question is, how does he recognize her then? Because he recognized her.
That's a 90s movie. That's a 90s movie right there.
You know what I mean? That was one of those things I thought about as I was, and I'm so silly. I didn't catch it when I saw it. I was working and I had it on and I was like, wait a minute. How would you know her if she died in childbirth? Now, unless they're suggesting that as a vampire, you can go back and recollect every movie you've ever had. I don't know. they didn't say that. But if you've never seen her, right? Now, I'm gonna go back and watch it the fourth time because now you got me thinking. But I think they said that she died in childbirth. And if she died in childbirth, to quote my man Dave, lazy writing. Lazy. All right. Dave, what you got, man? Character arcs. What's Oh, wait. Did you get the Deacon Frost, Jordan?
Oh, I didn't. I mean, Deacon's character arc. I mean, we kind of see him. I mean, his entire character arc written there is a '90s theme for every single '90s villain.
Damn.
Especially a young '90s villain.
Yeah.
That person who's fighting the big guys, and yeah, that's really it.
Until they become one of them.
Yeah, and with the end of the movie, I thought it was a satisfying ending. I'm glad they didn't go with that blood tornado thing that they were thinking about doing, because that sounded very like CGI heavy, and I don't think it would have. I don't think this movie would have aged well whatsoever if I saw a blood tornado with that era's CGI. But there was a CGI heavy ending, but I don't think it was as bad as it could have been.
No.
So yeah, Deacon's he's an okay villain. I think we'll get to maybe not better written villains, but better, bigger villains in the sequels to this. And then Whistler, man, his death that hurts. Like we're not with this character a lot, and he's got cancer, and it's like he's gonna turn into a vampire, or he's gonna or you gotta kill him. And the dialogue between Blade and Whistler in that moment, Blade thinks he's dead already when he lifts that sheet over him, off him. And then he starts talking, and I mean, Blade's probably like, all right, I don't know how you're alive. You're probably dying, or you're turning into a vampire. So it's one of the two. And it's the most powerful moment of the whole movie. For me at least. I mean, I think just their relationship just culminated in this amazing part. And this is something that could influence Blade in future movies as to why he does certain things. Maybe why he acts alone, because he doesn't want to get close to someone again. Right. The Peter Parker trope, that Peter Parker doesn't want to get close to people because they end up dying. So yeah, when it comes to character arcs, I mean, yeah, Blade and Whistler are top for me. Deacon, he's up there. Karen, I don't really see all that much of a character arc, but she's the audience in character form.
Okay, it's fair. Dave?
Yeah, I think Jordan hit it on the head with Karen. She's basically like along for the ride. Like and nothing really resonated too much with that character for me. But Blade, obviously, he had the most dynamic arc out of all of them. There were just so many different elements throughout the entire thing with him. Easily the best one out of the whole movie. And again, for it not being an origin, and if we're talking about doing a reboot of this, then maybe they do the origin story. That would actually be kind of cool if they can pull it off the right way. But yeah, from beginning to end, and yeah, near the end, and Saint Lathan, I like everything that I've seen with her in it has been amazing. And she only really does a couple of scenes in this whole movie.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I thought she was in more than what she actually was. It had been a long time since I seen this before I rewatched it earlier this week. Yeah. And I mean, in what little she had in this movie, she knocked it out of the park. She plays such a good. I know it's not one of the ones that we're going over, but but she killed it. She killed it in that scene where she's with Blade and everything. It was very disturbing because
It
she's
was.
supposed to be his mother and she's in his face, you know.
Right.
But yeah, Blade has the coolest arc and probably the most like it probably has the most depth when it comes to his arc than all of them. Whistler, yeah, the death scene with him, I thought was just done so well because yeah, you think he's gone, but then it's like I think it was a fitting, like if they were going to kill off that character, was a fitting end because even after that, like he was still hanging on just a little bit longer, just so he could tell him a little bit more. I think that was like a really defining moment for that character. I thought was really cool. And again, Deacon, you know, like still just yeah, he was a disruptor and he was the underdog character. Like he kind of got to the top of the mountain when he you know when he killed off the pure blood and everything, but it didn't seem like it lasted very long, and he really didn't have sort of like a dominant presence or anything like that. I don't feel like he really got established as like the top villain, you know, in the movie and everything. I think there was that power struggle and everything between him and the human friendly vampires and everything, but I don't know that he ever reached like that apex as a villain until like near the very end where it didn't really last last very long.
Yeah, the Blood God just wasn't a match for Karen's formula. So, yeah, you know, I give you Blood God, you give me science. Hey, man, we you know, it worked out for the good guys in that sense. Themes of the movie. Blade rejects both vampire aristocracy and human institutions. He forges a third way, a vigilante ethic. Biopolitics of blood, blood banks, synthetic serums, and blood farms seated here, later literalized in Trinity, reframe horror as resource extraction. Class and subculture, Frost faction, rave, anarchic youth, the counseled old world capital clubs, not castles. I identify with. I mean, I agree. I identify as vampire. No, I agree with all of this. Identity is code, and code is very much a part of Blade, and it has to be Whistler because he's the only one who raised him. You know, so that Blade's code has to be from Whistler, which again just denotes the fact that for all intents and purposes, he's Blade's dad. Class and subculture very much a part of this film, very much so. Know your place is the first time that he's like, all right, bring in Deacon, and then the tone is like, bring in the half. Jesus, can't take this guy. How many dead at this rave or whatever? Yeah, again with the raves. Bring in Deacon. Deacon's all, you're not my real dad.
You're not my dad.
Yeah.
I mean, very much so. Very much so a part of that. Very much a rebel. And it's funny, when you're younger, you see things a certain way. When you're older, you kind of see these themes play out over and over and over and over, again. So I don't know. Guys, themes, what are we thinking? How you feeling about it?
I will say the class and subculture. If we get to a reboot, which I think we will eventually, that will be the biggest change of this whole movie, because I think class and subculture, this fits so well for the time period. Just the anarchic youth, the rave culture. We ain't seen. I ain't seen no rave. I partied at State College. We didn't see no raves. they didn't have no raves. Yeah, and then the anarchic youth. I mean, that has since. I mean, it's been a very different I won't say it's gone, but it's just changed and adapted to the way society is now. But that's going to have to change a lot. And that's part of what made the overall vibe and aesthetic of the movie was the class and subculture in this.
Yeah.
So you have to find a way to rework any future installment of Blade to have a different class and subculture.
Okay. And that's fair. That is totally fair. Let's talk about comic book Blade versus MCU Blade. All right, so comics 1973, originally a human immune to vampire bites, later retrofitted into a Dhampir after a Morbius bite, granting superhuman abilities. British by birth in canon, with evolving gear and martial arts mastery. Film 1998 makes him a born Dhampir. Is Dhampir some sort of vampire demigod or something like that? Or I don't know.
I think it's half human, half vampire.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Via Deacon Frost attack on his mother, streamlining the origin and leaning into serum managed bloodlust. MCU 2021, Mahershala Ali's Blade first appears as a voice in Eternals post-credit stinger. A solo film has been in prolonged development with scheduled churn and director exits Bassam Tariq in 2022, Jan Damage departing in 2024. By mid-2024, Disney even pulled the date of release from the calendar. The MCU's tonal fit seems darker, but production has been stop-start. And can we talk about the MCU for just a second? Because I don't know if you guys are seeing the stories that I'm seeing, but upheaval is afoot at Marvel. Because I'm hearing all sorts of stuff. Now, I don't know what's true. I don't know what's not true. But Jordan, you're our man on the scene with everything comic books. Just kind of give us the news on what you hear is going on with Disney, because it's a lot.
Yeah. So, all right. First of all, when I heard Mahershala Ali was going to be Blade, I was like, they nailed the casting. I love it.
Too.
Now it kind of doesn't make sense now that retroactively we've made the Netflix Marvel series canon, and Mahershala Ali was a villain in Luke Cage. But I digress. I mean, that's perfect casting. When I first saw him on stage and I saw the hat that he was wearing and I saw the logo for Blade, I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna be good." And I saw the Eternals post-credit scene. Now, I will say the post-credit scene for Eternals, when I first saw it, I was like, I have no idea who that is. The voice right away, it was too quick of dialogue. I mean, you don't see him. I Googled it. I was like, I had to Google it afterwards, and I was like, who's that supposed to be? And I saw Blade, and I was like, oh, okay. So, in my opinion, not as great of a post-credit scene, probably one of the worst ones. Although the impact of that could be far greater. Yeah, they've been through different writers, different directors. I don't think this has been said, but Jordan Peele was talking with Marvel. That's all we know about potentially doing a movie, and then he wasn't. And what I think was going on was Jordan Peele was talking to Marvel about Blade. Which, if Jordan Peele did a Blade movie, let me take off my glasses for a second. If Jordan Peele did a Blade movie, that makes movies making $1 billion. Jordan Peele is about to do a horror football movie. I have never even heard of that before.
Me neither.
Like
him, right? It's called Him.
Yeah. The idea of doing, I love football. I love horror. I've never even thought about the two of them going together. When I first heard it, I was like, oh,
together.
Yeah.
You remember that commercial? You got your peanut butter in my chocolate. I'm sorry. Anyway, go ahead. You got
And
your horror in my football. It had to be said, guys. It had to be said. Go ahead, Jordan.
when just seeing that, if I ever hear that, I'm thinking, all right, this movie's probably gonna be based off concussions and stuff. Nope, not at all. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to go and see that movie. Jordan Peele is one of the best directors in all of Hollywood right now. I would say, like, Christopher Nolan is obviously the top director in Hollywood, but Jordan Peele is a very high demand director. Like, Christopher Nolan can go do whatever he wants. Jordan Peele is making whatever he wants. And I think eventually Jordan Peele will get to the level of Christopher Nolan. And it's so crazy. He started off with Key and Peele skits. Like, that's such a wild thing. But to hear he was talking to them about a Marvel movie, it was 100% for Blade. And I don't think it worked out because I think Marvel wants... They clearly want something out of Blade that they don't know. And everybody, including myself, says it's not that hard. You put a dude who kills vampires in a movie with swords and guns. That's cool. It's very hard to not get that right. And I know they'll try and connect it with other Marvel stuff, and you can hint at some things, but you don't have to be so over the top and introduce us to, like, the Black Knight. We don't have to be introduced to any Avengers characters. You don't need to do that. You can just put this, and I've heard two different versions of the script. So Mia Goth, she was in a movie called Pearl, which was one of my favorite horror movies that I've ever seen. She did such a phenomenal job, and I heard that she was going to be playing Dracula's daughter as the main villain in the movie, and I was like, oh, heck yeah, this movie's going to be awesome. Now, since then, it sounds like that has changed. I don't know if Mia Goth's even attached to the project at all, or if she's playing a different character. I've heard that this could be set in the 1920s, 1930s. I've also heard it'll be set in present day. So I don't know. I don't think anyone knows. And there's so many different scripts for this. It's not that hard. And I think Kevin Feige came out and said, like we're trying to, we're just trying to make basically what I just said. Get a man who kills vampires. But Kevin Feige said it in a way that was more business-like and more powerful and influential than I would. But, like, it's not that hard. What is taking so long? So what I think is going to happen, since Marvel pivoted from Kang and they wanted to just close out this phase or this saga as quickly as possible, and we're getting Secret Wars. After Secret Wars, when everything resets or potentially resets or semi-resets, whatever ends up happening, that's when we'll get a Blade movie. It might be the first movie that happens after Secret Wars. And it would probably make the most sense, especially if you're going to do a period piece. If you make this into a 1920s movie, you could bring that aesthetic, the 90s aesthetic, but do it with the 20s aesthetic. I think they could nail this movie because there's not the technology. The guns are less flashy. Like, you could make this such a great period piece in the 1920s, and to show that Blade has been here for a very long time, and like have him born in like 1920 or have him born in like 1900 or 1890, and have him already not developed, but you see the origin story. Like Dave was saying, now is when you can introduce that origin story. So, and then whatever he does in 1920s, you can, in new movies, flash forward to him with the current Marvel universe. And maybe in sequels, you could do like one in the 1920s. You could do one in the 1960s, which I think would be very interesting considering the civil rights movement. I think you could really play into the whole vampires dynamic and connect it very well to the civil rights movement. And then you could go and do it would be very interesting. The third movie would be in the 90s.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you could really play this out into a really good trilogy.
Yeah.
And as well as seeing him in current day with the Avengers and other movies.
Yeah, but you'd have to retcon the fact that he ages like humans. You'd have to do that.
That's what Secret Wars. I mean, Secret Wars can do. We can do what they can do. Whatever they want. Spider-Man can have 3 legs. Wolverine can have 4 arms. Like he can do whatever you want.
Oh wow. Okay. Dave, thoughts? That's okay. Dave, thoughts?
Yeah, I don't really know too much about but I've heard about it being talked as a 1920s period piece, which would be interesting. Yeah, I'd be all for them going back to the 90s. I think that would be really cool. And if we could even get an action sequence where they're fighting in a blockbuster, that would be cool.
That would be awesome. And it's broken up by Captain Marvel.
Because why not? Yeah.
Why not? No, why not? makes total sense. 18. So that's not what we want to do. We want to go here. 10 little known things about this movie. Stan Lee shot a cameo, a responding cop after the blood rave that was cut. Stan Lee was cut from the movie. The original ending set up Morbius. You can watch the alternate ending today. Okay. I didn't know there was an alternate ending. I'll have to check that out.
I did not know that either. I had no idea.
And that's why it's 10 little known facts. LL Cool J was at one point linked as Blade in early development. Oh, no. I'm glad they... And no disrespect to him. I love LL, but he ain't Wesley, so... Although he is big. LL Cool J is a big dude, man. You don't realize how big he is. He is a big, big dude. Jet Li turned down Deacon Frost to do Lethal Weapon 4. Wow, okay. Didn't know that either. After a disastrous test screening, New Line funded reshoots that added the sword fight finale and reworked La Magra. I think that's the tornado scene you're referencing, Jordan. Marvel's take was reportedly a flat $25,000 license fee despite the film's success. Wow. Okay. So maybe they outsourced this. Sounds like to me, and maybe that's why the comic book piece wasn't played up, because it looks like they just bought this character or rented him and was like, hey, can we use him in this movie? And Marvel was like, yeah, sure. Okay. Extra
that makes sense.
Okay. Extra sued over skin reactions to fake blood used in the opening rave. Wow. Glad I wasn't in that scene. Who knew?
And how many times did they have to shoot that, I wonder?
Good question. I don't know. That's a weird one. The ice skate uphill closer was Snipes' own line adopted into the script. Now, that is one of my favorite lines, okay? He's about to kill La Magra. Deacon Frost, he says, some MFers just got the ice skate uphill. Bam! I love that. I love that line. I thought it was great. It was cool. The production stages were built inside a former Redken shampoo factory in Canoga Park, peak 90s indie ingenuity. Who knew? The Prodigy was approached to do the score, but scheduling nixed it. Imagine that alternate timeline. So, yeah, 10 little facts we did not know about this movie, which I thought was kind of cool. We always try and include that in the process. So, yeah. I thought the soundtrack was pretty cool. I liked the soundtrack. I thought it was pretty cool, you know. Oh no, hey man, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was fun. My favorite quotes was the ice skate uphill, and in the beginning when he was like, when the cops shoot him, and he's like, what the? Because it wasn't so much the quote in that scenario, it's the fact that he was like, the nerve of you guys to shoot at me. I'm Blade. Don't you MFers know I'm Blade? You better recognize. Did you shoot me for real? It was a little arrogant, but it was funny. I liked it. It played well. I thought it was kind of cool. Um, and then there was this scene where he's with Karen, and she's like, "You use me as bait," and he's like, "Get over it, just flat, get over it." Like, damn, Blade, okay. There's no room in my life for empathy right now, Karen. Okay, this is war, damn it. Anyway, those are my favorite quotes. So we're at the time, guys. We gotta rate this thing. You know what I mean? We gotta put it out there. So, uh, Dave, let's start with you, buddy. 1 out of 10. What do you give this?
Yeah, I mean, again, for its time, I thought it was good. I thought there was some laziness with the writing. We talked about the sunblock and that nonsense and everything. I think I give it about an 8, though. I think it definitely was appealing at the time. It had good visuals. Visual effects weren't the greatest. I mean, even for then, and everything. But I mean, all in all, not too bad. I'm glad they did nix the original ending. For what they did, because the sequence at the end was pretty good. The fighting scene at the end was really, really good. Yeah, so I'd give it a solid 8. Yeah.
Okay, Jordan.
I'm kind of in the same ballpark. I give it a 7.5 out of 10. I really like this movie. In fact, before this week, I gave it a 5.5 out of 10. Just because I thought it was very generic at first, but watching it now, it just feels very refreshing. And I love the undertone of this movie. There's so much to love about this movie, and if I had to include the impact of this movie, and in all my ratings I don't include the impact of this movie, it would be a lot higher score, because I mean, without Blade, who knows if we get the X-Men, who knows if we get Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, then who knows if we even get the MCU. So Blade laid the groundwork for really good Marvel bigger budget movies, and I have a lot of respect for that. And I don't know if anyone else could have played Blade better than Wesley Snipes. Especially his improvised lines throughout this entire movie. They only added to the Blade narrative, and it's something that any future Blade actor, they'll either have to have great writing, or they're going to have insane dialogue that they go off script with. But just like Dave said, CGI, it's for its time, it's good. And I won't leave it higher or lower because of it. Overall, just really good movie. 7.5 out of 10.
All right. Well, I don't know that this is allowed, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna give it a 7.75. So it's not an 8.
Oh, here we go.
But it's not a 7.5. Okay.
Ew.
Right there.
I think we're getting a little carried away with these 0.24. We're not at work, Terry. We're not at work, man.
Ew.
Nobody
does that in any rating system.
I'm just playing. I'm giving Jordan a hard time. I'm just playing.
Your rating has been disqualified.
Oh wow, guys, come on. I'm gonna give it an 8. I thought it was really good. I felt like this movie took us on a journey. The visual aesthetic was great. The grunge, the gothic look, the darkness, the fight scenes, the weapons. Some of the dialogue was a little campy. Some of it was really great. But it all kind of came together in this hodgepodge of coolness, and I really liked it. So yeah, man, I gave it an 8. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was great. And hey man, I can't wait to come back and do it next week. Jordan, what are we doing next week? Because I've forgotten, because I'm 55 and that's what I do. What are we doing next week?
All right, let's take a look at this spreadsheet that I made. Because I added it to it today. It's a very long one now. All right. Let me get these glasses out for next week to showcase that. All right. Oh, we're just doing Blade 2. We're gonna be back in this same universe.
Awesome.
So
Dave, you got to wear shades next week.
Yeah, I didn't know that was going to be the thing. Yeah,
I didn't know it either. I didn't know Jordan was gonna wear shades. I just happened to have mine nearby, and I just thought it'd be a cool little bit. But next week we should all wear shades because our future's so bright. See what I did there? Oh, come on.
Wow.
That did not miss. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Okay, whatever. We got Christy Lewis in the chat. Christy says, evening movie buffs. What up, Christy from Mississippi? M-I, crooked letter I, crooked letter I, humpback I. How you doing, Christy? That is a lot to say, by the way. When you get older, that's a lot of breath. That's a lot to say. When I was younger, I could say that and not be phased. I'm a little winded. I'm just saying.
I mean, you just could have not, and then it would have been fine too.
But it's Mississippi. It's anytime I hear Mississippi, I think, because when I was a kid in school, that's how we learned to spell it, right? It was M-I, crooked letter I, crooked letter I, humpback I. That was how we learned how to spell it. And
How's that go again?
Stop messing with me. So I'm not doing it again, Dave. I'm watching you. I'm not doing it again. Anyway, whatever. Hey, Christy, how you doing? Go Falcons. What the hell are we talking about? Okay, so we're doing Blade 2, right? So let's all wear shades next week. And it's going to be great, and it's going to be fun. And guys, I love doing this. Christy, thank you for joining. Carrie, thank you for joining. James, thank you for joining. Hey man, Dave, tell these folks where they can find you.
Right here.
There you go. That's all you got to say. That's what I was looking for.
Right here.
Right?
We're going to be getting into hockey season. I go all the time. So yeah, I mean,
when you can do
apart
it,
from this, I don't really, I'm not a working man like Jordan where I get into all those other things. I just don't have the availability for that. So, no tags, no nothing, because I probably wouldn't respond to people very often.
It's cool.
But this is a lot of fun.
We love having you. And Dave's a great Madden player. I'll beat him one day. One day I really will. One day I will destroy him. And it will be a great day, because I personally think if Dave loses to me in Madden, I think he won't be able to take it. I think he'll never play again. I think he will sell all of his games. That's just me. It doesn't mean it's true, but he gives me that villain, like, once I beat him, like, oh no, it's gonna, like, I will have seen the soft underbelly, and he will have to sell all of his games. Like, he won't be able to, and we work together, so he knows I will give him copious amounts of shit every day, like he's been doing to me for the past 3 months.
Okay, but I just want to point out now that I don't say anything about this on this show.
No, because you've cultivated our entire workforce into doing it. It's bad when my boss wakes me up like, Gary, it's 8:09 and you still haven't kicked Dave's ass yet. Like,
but for those of you watching, so here is the backstory. The backstory is that this man, since you want to make this a thing on here, we can do that. This man, for a year straight,
2
years straight,
3 years
for something that 2, even worse, for 2 straight years.
We've been working together for 3 years, Dave.
Everybody that we have worked with told them every day that he was going to beat my ass in Madden.
Oh man,
well, ladies and gentlemen, one of the main reasons I went down to Atlanta, Georgia, a few months ago, was because I gotta see this. And guess what? I didn't see that ever. He got whooped. And for somebody who was talking shit every day for 2 years, over something that didn't happen, you damn sure deserve it every day now because it really, really happened. Over and over and over. In your
Dave
own
grabbed
house.
Dave grabbed the Infinity Gauntlet and was like, "Fine, I'll do it."
He did. He did.
Just
He did. He
bam.
did. With all 6 Power Stones, he came in like Thanos and administered some justice.
That was it.
Oh,
That was
man.
it. So when you hear him talk about this, everybody, please understand he deserves every damn bit of the shit that we talk for the 2 years that he made us put up with his Fantasyland bullshit. So there that is.
There was once upon a time.
I really love talking about the movies here. Yeah.
There was once upon a time I could have beaten you, Dave, but whatever. It's okay. I will. So you're saying there's a chance. I will never give up. I will never give in.
On top of the fact that that's not even my main one. I'm mostly an NHL guy, but I mean, you made it a big thing and just got waxed. Just
I will get you.
Like it was your job. Like you lost. Like it was your job. So
I will get you one of these days, Gadget. I will get you one of these days. Jordan, tell these folks where they can find you, man.
Where can you find me? You can find me up in the stars when you look up at night.
Oh, okay.
You can find me at Ultegacy, ULTEGACY, all on all social media platforms. Been posting a lot for the NFL season for the Saints and the Eagles. You can find me on Letterboxd. That's where I have all my movie ratings. I just saw The Conjuring Last Rites yesterday. I really enjoyed it. And if you like the first 2 Conjuring movies, I'd highly recommend it. And I'm also on Instagram, so you can follow me there.
Good deal. Awesome. Well, guys, you can find me at 4MYATL Sports 1. You can find me at 4MYATL Movies 1, and you can find me usually on conference calls with Dave every Wednesday, sometimes Thursday, sometimes Friday, sometimes Saturday. Yeah, man. So this was fun. Guys, if you watch this, want to thank God for you guys. Thank God for bringing your path. And, hey, you could have been doing anything in the world. You chose to spend your time with us. We appreciate that. I promise you that is not lost on us, and I promise you we appreciate it. And, hey, we will be back next week talking about Blade 2, and we'll all have on shades. Can't wait. And it'll be fun. So you guys have an amazing week. Go Falcons! Dave, your team is the Browns, and Jordan, your team is the you got 2 teams. Oh gosh. All right. So guys, I know we're talking about movies. Jordan is one of my very best friends. So I've set this up for saying this. Jordan's a Saints fan and an Eagles fan, right? So it's like there's this dichotomy, like I love half of them and hate the other, right? And you can guess which half I hate. But he's my friend, right? It's kind of like if the Hulk was your friend, right? You'd get along with Banner. You'd live with the Hulk, right? Because the Hulk does damage. Probably be difficult to deal with. I'm trying to do this analogy. But anyway, Jordan, it's cool that your Eagles won. I hope your Saints get their asses handed to them this weekend. I really do. Dave, I'm cool with your Browns winning. Like I said, your Eagles are cool, Jordan, but you know what it is. And I know you hope my Falcons are get their asses whooped, and I get it. You know what I mean? It's whatever. It's a weird dynamic. Jordan has 2 teams, but he's my friend. What are you going to do? Okay? Because it's weird.
I had this conversation with my interns because I have 2 interns for where I work at, and they both asked me on Friday. They're like, "Oh, who's your favorite intern?" And I'm like, I don't have a favorite intern. I want to be clear and honest because they're not watching this. I don't have a favorite intern. And if they are watching this, get off my stream. So I have no favorite. When you guys aren't here, I love the silence in the office. So yeah. Go to bed. It's 9:53. You're all like 21, 22 years old. Stop drinking.
Go to
It's too
bed.
late.
Go to bed.
Yeah. You're 21 years old. Go to bed.
Drink
Don't
your
you have to
Ovaltine.
Right.
You'll
Don't you
shit
have to
your pants.
study?
Go to bed at 10.
Don't you have to study for like an exam on Monday? No, I'm a working person. No, I don't have a favorite. Same thing goes with my NFL teams. I love the Saints and I love the Eagles equally. Even though, I mean, one's really good right now, one's not. I've had experiences where both have been swapped. I've had instances where they both suck. I'm also a Bulls and Sixers fan. It's not going well.
I didn't even bring that up because the dynamic is confusion. I didn't even bring that up.
But yeah, I love them both equally. So,
but he is my friend, so whatever. It's funny. We met and we were doing a show on your channel, Jordan, and it was me, Jordan, and Chris. And afterwards, Jordan and I got to talking, and we started talking about Marvel, and like 2 hours went by, and I was like, "Did we just become best friends?" Because we both love Marvel, and we were like, "Let's put together a show." And Jordan was like, "Yeah," and then we did it like 8 months later, but we did it, and that's all that matters. But anyway, from there, friendship.
And just real quick, FYI, I probably couldn't name 2 Browns players right now because again, hockey guy. But yeah, I mean, of course, like the local teams. I hope they do well. But I don't think it's happening in Cleveland. One thing I do know, so I do know trends. So while I may not be following football like I used to back in the 90s and early 2000s, I do know that here in Cleveland, the practice of the Cleveland football Browns is that the minute we start to see success, we get rid of the people that contribute to that success. We just can't have that right now. Mediocrity and failure, that's our sweet spot. So, we brought back Joe Flacco, but if that dude starts winning, he's out of here.
He's got to go. He's out of here.
And if he gets us into the playoffs,
he's got to go.
He should be fined and suspended. I'm just
saying.
He's got to go. But that's what we do. Mayfield, he won us a playoff game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He had to go. We don't got time for that shit.
We don't have time for that.
He had to go. He had to go.
I think the world's a better place when the Saints suck. I mean, that's just me. You know what I mean? I'm pulling Jordan's chain. I'm giving him a hard time. And it's funny because Jordan never responds. Like he might do something like, pull out his ring or whatever. But when we get off the phone, like 2 days later, he's going to send me this smart ass text. And I don't know why. It's because I was talking trash here.
I mean, that chain that you're pulling, it has a Super Bowl ring on it.
Ah, that's what it is. There we go. I knew it was coming.
Well, Jordan, the Atlanta Falcons did win 3/4 of a Super Bowl one time.
Man, that's just, we are not going to do that, guys. We are not going to do that.
And I know that most of you watching are in Atlanta. I'm very sorry, but Terry deserved it. I'm just saying.
That is okay.
I'm not anti-Falcons. I'm just anti-Terry.
Oh, wow. He's not anti-Terry. He's been to my house. My family loved him, and he does great impressions. One day I'll have Dave do some impressions because Dave's impressions are spot on. I mean, spot on. Like, outstanding. But another time. Hey, you guys have a great day. Everybody watching an NFL game, whoever your team is, hey, man, good luck. Hope you guys enjoy it. And, yeah, we will see you next week. Again, thank you, everybody, for coming out. You guys be safe. And go Falcons.
Camera action is going down for my ATL movies when we run this town with your host T-Wil, yeah, keeping it real. From the A to the screen, you can feel the thrill. Rolling with the classics, we're setting the pace, highlighting the magic of our soulful space. Got the vibe, got the crew, making it tight. When the screen lights up, everything feels right. Grab your popcorn, let's make it loud. It's movie time, ATL style. Stand proud from the silver real. Talking premieres where the stars align. ATL views, yeah, they really shine behind.
Good show.